Where are you from?
I'm from Cascadia, the west side of the Cascade Mountains, and I grew up in Washington State in Muckleshoot Territory. Now I live in Portland, Oregon, Kalapuya, Chinook Territory.
Okay, what brings you to the convergence?
Most of my work right now is focused on the intersection of climate change and forests. So when I heard that there was a national convergence on forests and climate change, it was a natural step to take, and I'm also really excited about the idea of rebuilding a forest activist movement nationally, but one that is grounded in the emerging threat of climate change and how forests are part of the climate solution. So I had to come.
Okay. Well, could you explain a little bit about your work, a little bit of the background?
Sure. I started as a young direct action forest activist in the 1990s after the salvage rider, and took to the trees and the streets and learned that I was better with words than I was with heights. So that drove me into law school, where I focused on public lands, public interest environmental law, and have spent the last almost 20 years in some way or another doing legal and policy work with nonprofit organizations focused on public lands in Oregon.
Great.
I also have a farm and kids and things that make me care about the land and be really connected to the future of life.
Now.
Correct.
What are some of your more interesting environmental cases?
Well, right now, the one that I just last week submitted a brief to the Ninth Circuit on is a case. It's a 12,000 acre timber sale on Mount Hood National Forest. It's the first time in over a decade that the Forest Service is reviving old growth logging. And of course, like all timber sales now, it's done under the guise of restoration and fuels reduction. So on one side of their mouth, they're saying we need to restore the forest because of fire exclusion and the sins of our past. And on the other side, they're repeating the sins of their past as they continue to exclude fire and also extract the largest, most ecologically valuable trees and say it's for forest health. So that we're arguing right now in front of the circuit court. We lost at district court, unsurprisingly. The judge used to be a lawyer for the Forest Service. And we're hoping that the Ninth Circuit sees that the science and common sense is on the side of the people, and that the Forest Service is both lying and breaking the law in this case.
Can you point to any successes?
So, I mean, it's hard to say. Like, sometimes we win a lawsuit or win a campaign that we didn't even have to go to the lawsuit. We get acres dropped from a timber sale. We save the best part of the forest. And that's a success for that place. And a success insofar as more people get connected to the land and they get tools to be empowered to support the land they love. That's a success. But on the arc, on the trajectory, we are losing. We are losing the battle around climate change. We are losing the narrative around forests. We're losing political battles. So yes and no. I think I can point to small, personal, place-based successes, but I think the overall trajectory has not been so good for forests.
So why do you do this? I mean, the news looks bad.
Yeah.
You can always find a person who will say, it doesn't matter what I do. In the long run, we're not going to be able to do anything. We're beyond that point. Why are you doing this?
Why do I do this? Well, I think the main thing is I love the land. And the land loves me. And I do things for it that it can't do for itself. And it does things for me that I can't do for myself. And there's a reciprocity there. I do it because I can't do anything else in this moment. When you love a place, a person, an idea, and you have the opportunity to act on its behalf, not doing it does more harm than doing it and losing. And so I think on a very personal basis, I do it because I have to. And kind of to keep, I don't know if sane is the right word, but to keep alive, to thrive in this time. you know, and then for hope, I read books about rocks. Like I learn about geologic time, and it's true in the very long scope of time. This is but a blip. You know, that helps me center myself. It might just be a blip though, but it's my blip. And so I'm going to do what I can and trust that we're not doing this to save the earth. The earth is fine. We're doing this to push back on human greed and arrogance. And that is work that I'm called to do by the land, and I have to answer that call.
This was, the Convergence was billed as more than a conference.
Right.
Did it live up to the billing?
Yes. You know, we'll still see what comes out of this. And in my hope, and I think many people's hope is here, that this is the spark for more national conversation. But at the least, I've been to a lot of conferences where all you do is sit and absorb information. And a lot of it's bad. A lot of it's all the struggles that are happening. And then you just like end the conference with this load of weight from all this bad information. And this is centering our voices, our actions, our campaigns. It's connecting us. It's bringing us out to a beautiful place. Just had a great swim in the lake. I can't usually do that in the middle of a conference. And the idea that we are growing something rather than just having a moment to share information, I think is the hope. I hope it lives up to that. We'll see. We'll see next year. See if we have another.
Is there something that I haven't asked that you would like to talk about or say?
I think one of the things I'm most excited about this convergence is the centering of Indigenous people, people of color, and youth and their voices, because those have oft been not only excluded, but disdained in the modern white man conservation movement. And it's to our detriment and to the detriment of the land. And I think that recentering, or maybe for the first time, that centering for many groups is something that I'm just thrilled by. It's work that we've been trying to do, and this just amplifies that work and makes it apparent that, especially without Indigenous leadership, our movement should not succeed and will not.
Thank you.